I'm saying that you, as a parent, get to decide what sort of values you wish to teach your kids, rather than the executives at Disney who have suggested that they wish to deliberately indoctrinate your kids with LGBT values. They say this openly. LaToya Ravenel, who's an executive producer there,
they're not saying indoctrination. They're saying they want to have more representation. There's a huge difference. If you see a lesbian couple on TV, you do not instantly become a lesbian. That's not how this works. If you see a gay couple on TV, you do not become gay. It doesn't work that way. Trust us, we've tried.
Try to censor your opponent. This is basically the viewpoint of the left. And the idea is you have to agree with them on every score, or you yourself are some sort of deep-seated, deep-rooted fascist. This is apparently what I'm learning now, because yesterday I tweeted that Disney is putting a same-sex kiss in the brand new movie Lightyear. And this is the new Buzz Lightyear film. It is directed at small children who like the Toy Story series. And they've made a very big deal out of this. I mean, it's not like Disney is not treating this as historic. They are treating this as historic. And this is just another great example of the left doing something that is deliberately provocative. And then when you notice them saying, well, it's not happening. And they say, well, it is because you just said it is. And they say, well, it is happening and it's good. And if you notice, you're a bigot. And that is the idea here. So I noticed, which according to the left means that I'm a bigot, and I said, maybe you should take it under advisement that the sexual values that the left teaches are not the ones you want your kids to learn from Lightyear the movie, which doesn't seem all that controversial to me, frankly. It seems like, you know, the sort of traditional norm, male-female couple producing children being what is in children's movies. I'm not sure why that is supposed to change or why it must change or why it's necessary to teach small children the prevailing sexual values of the left. Why is that a thing that is necessary? I mean, there will be plenty of time for that later on.
Lesbians exist. Lesbians are normal. Lesbians have kids and make great families. It's not unusual for them to have representation in film. If a young girl who is gay sees that and thinks, oh, well, maybe I'm normal too. I'm not something strange like Ben Shapiro wants to make me think I am. That's a good thing.
In life, when kids are fully capable of understanding the moral values and judgments that are implied by sexual behavior, for example, or by the choices that you choose to make in your relationships, but doing that with small kids and then pretending that, for example, same-sex marriage and heterosexual marriage are completely equivalent in every way under natural law, morally, evolutionarily, you're opening a can of worms, in other words, that doesn't need...
At least he's saying it out loud. I mean, he's basically explaining that he considers one to not be good and one to be good. One is evil, one is sinful, and the other is proper and moral.
To be opened in children's film. And Disney knows this, which is why they are doing this. If you notice this, however, the left now suggests that this is a violation of freedom of speech. Because apparently what they mean by freedom of speech is you must approve everything that we do. If I say, listen, you're a parent, you want to take your kids to see Lightyear? Your prerogative. You're a parent, you can do what you want. I'm not taking my kids to see Lightyear. If I say that, apparently this now makes me a cancel culture specialist, or this turns me into a violator of the First Amendment, or it's that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
No one on the left was saying that, Ben. We were pointing out the hypocrisy. We were saying that the overabundance of heterosexual couples in Disney films, just like your cup runneth over. You can get as many cartoon characters kissing, as long as one is a man, one is a woman, that you could ever want. You don't even have to look towards human beings. The animal kingdom as well seems to have a whole bunch. Again, your cup runneth over. Here you are. That's what we're pointing out. We're pointing out the hypocrisy of the fact that something as benign as a lesbian couple existing and looking at each other longingly, as the picture that you do, this is not the society in a state of moral collapse. This is totally 100% normal. This is normal. What kids need is love and loving parents. That's it. Doesn't matter if it's two mummies, two daddies. That does not matter. Doesn't matter if it's three daddies. You know, I mean, Jeremy Hamblin might be the outlier there. I don't think he turned out quite okay. But I mean, I guess that was later in life. His father found out later in life that he wanted to be in a polyamorous relationship with two black men. So there is that. But otherwise, the vast majority of studies that we see to explore this, because trust me, conservatives have wanted to point out that this is an abomination forever. The vast majority of studies have shown that yes, they achieve the same outcomes. Kids need love. Does not matter if the love is coming from a heterosexual couple or a homosexual couple.
I'm not calling for Lightyear to be banned. Right? This isn't Saudi Arabia. This isn't China. I'm not saying that it should be banned or that you can't, it should never be played in theaters or anything like that. I'm saying that you as a parent get to decide what sort of values you wish to teach your kids, rather than the executives at Disney who have suggested that they wish to deliberately indoctrinate your kids with LGBT values. They say this openly. LaToya Ravenous, who's an executive producer there,
they're not saying indoctrination. They're saying they want to have more representation. There's a huge difference. If you see a lesbian couple on TV, you do not instantly become a lesbian. That's not how this works. If you see a gay couple on TV, you do not become gay. It doesn't work that way. Trust us, we've tried.
said they have the direct quote, not at all secret gay agenda that they wish to insert in their children's programming. You have the head of Disney literally saying that she has a non-binary kid and a transgender child, and she wishes to expand the roster of such characters in children's programming until it encompasses something like 50% of all of the characters.
Yeah, I'm sure. 50% of all Disney characters are going to be trans and non-binary. The thing is, Disney's not even taking a very brave stance on this issue. They're doing a lot of things where they'll make like little side characters so they can edit them out of international markets if they need to. Yeah, okay, fine. This one is a gay couple. All right, Frozen 2, you get not even like a directly stated gay couple. It's implied. It's like, oh yeah, is that your partner over there? And it waves, and there's like a whole bunch of and it's like it's like literally a half a second long, enough that you could just edit it out if you need to for foreign markets.
If you notice that, apparently you're bad and also violative of free speech. But if people shout you down and say that you're not allowed to have any opinion on this sort of stuff, that is not I'm not saying you can't have an opinion. You can have an opinion. I'm saying your opinion is wrong. You are saying that if we express our opinion, then we should be silenced.
The thing you're calling out is the exact thing that is happening to you. I'm saying you're wrong. You're incredibly wrong and bigoted, yes. But I'm not trying to take away your opinion, Ben. You can have it.
This, unfortunately, is the way that our culture is currently constructed. It's an uneven construction. People on the right very rarely try to actually silence people on the left. People on the left routinely...
Come on, Ben. Even as that left your lips, you can't possibly believe it. You look at this. Even there, your face betrays you.
Try to do it with people who are on the right by suggesting they're fascists and they must be stopped. That is the goal here. And so this...
Your camp is literally trying to legislate trans people out of existence. Right-wingers, far-right right-wingers, Christian fundamentalists. That is what is happening on the other side. That seems a little bit more extreme. A little bit more cancel culture, 1984.
This holds true on virtually every front. This is particularly true with regard to climate change, where it has been decided that if you violate the precepts that the left has been promulgating, then this means that you have to shut up. Now, here's the thing. The rubric of climate change denialism that they like to push all the time is that you are a climate change denier if you say that climate change is happening and also that human beings are very good at adaptation, we'll figure it out. Apparently, this amounts to climate change denialism. Even though, by the way, that's what pretty much every...
Because on one hand, you're acknowledging there's a problem, and on the second hand, you're like, it'll solve itself. And hey, if you happen to be anywhere where climate change is affecting your life, fucking move, you pores. What's wrong with you? Just fucking move.
Everyone who knows the science agrees is what's going to happen. Is that there will be
yeah, definitely. Yeah, the vast majority of the scientific community has not been sounding the alarm. Scientists are literally super gluing themselves to buildings to try and get people to listen right now. Like, we're at that stage. We're at that point. They're willing to, in their lab coats, take super glue and super glue themselves to buildings and protest to be like, can you please check out the new IPCC report? We need more people to acknowledge this. We need to do dramatic action now. Not in 10 years, not like, oh, we could be carbon neutral by 2040. No, now.
Problems associated with climate change, that economic growth created by free markets and free trade and economic laissez-faire liberalism is going to wildly outpace the amount of damage done by climate change over the course of the next century, and that we'll then have money in areas of the world that currently don't have money to spend in helping to solve some of the more brutal side effects of climate change. If you mention this sort of stuff according to the left, this means you ought to be censored. So now
there's already tons and tons of climate refugees. There's going to be millions and millions more. Man, this is such a horrifying way to look at it.
You have the Wall Street Journal editorial board today on climate change censorship. Here's what they write. Progressives first demanded the social media platforms.
Okay, what does this have to do with Lightyear? Are you just going to talk about climate change?
The Wall Street Journal pointed out that this is what the left does. They take a core and then they expand it outward to encompass everything we don't like. They do this on nearly every topic. Right? They'll take an argument like, you are a climate change denier if you say the climate is not changing because of human activity. And then they will expand that out to include everyone who agrees that human activity is at least partially responsible for climate change.
Because you are currently, I'd say, probably in like 1973 in terms of both your acceptance and what needs to be done, understanding on this topic, being that like, oh yeah, we'll figure it out. You know, we like that time has passed. You know, we need to do shit about this now.
We just disagree with your solutions. This is what they do all the time. They do it on January 6th too, right? You could have condemned January.
This video, Disney's Not So Secret Agenda gets Lightyear banned in Saudi Arabia. He's talking about January 6th after going on like a 3-minute rant about climate change. All right, we'll slow him down a little bit.
January 6th, you could have thought that Donald Trump was saying things that were not true between November 4th and January 6th, all of that. But you voted for Trump, didn't you? And that means that you are a January 6th insurrectionist. They always take the outline case, and then they make this the rubric under which they absorb pretty much everybody.
Sir, this is Wendy's.
Merely pointing out technical limitations on lithium-ion batteries could be disinformation, according to the Wall Street Journal. I was asking what your order was. Asked whether climate disinformation posed a threat to public health, McCarthy replied, absolutely, while adding hilariously, President Biden doesn't focus on, and neither do I, on bashing fossil fuel companies.
Where is this
the Axios interviewer smiled and nodded along. That, of course, is absurd. Joe Biden literally sent a letter claiming that fossil fuel companies were responsible for oil shortages right now, which is the dumbest thing in the world. So, all of this attempts to cut down on dissent is pretty commonplace on the left, unfortunately, right now, all the way up to and including a researcher paid by the Department of Homeland Security calling Tucker Carlson a stochastic terrorist. The idea, again, being that Tucker Carlson disagrees with you. Therefore, he is essentially like somebody who bombs buildings, and so he must be stopped. If you call somebody a stochastic terrorist, the obvious implication is they must be restricted and censored. Here is a DHS researcher talking about this.
Have you been paid taxpayer dollars by DHS to study Tucker Carlson as a stochastic?
What does this have to do with Disney again? We're so far gone from the original topic of this video. Like, this is Tim Pool levels of, like, misdirection. Oh, I broke Benny, or Benny broke me. And shouldn't that be, like, an accomplishment, getting a movie banned in Saudi Arabia? Like, the administration of Saudi Arabia, I should say, the monarchy, they're not good.
That is largely because Taylor Lorenz, the worst journalist in America, tracked down the person behind Libs of TikTok and decided to dox her by publishing a link to her address and all of this.
Wait, now we're talking about Libs of TikTok? Oh my god.
The left has been pushing the idea that Libs of TikTok is quote-unquote going to get somebody killed because Libs of TikTok is committing the grave sin of taking public information and making it more public.
Libs of TikTok just recently posted the location of a drag queen story hour, and Proud Boys showed up and terrorized the children by screaming hate speech at the people who were there. One of them had a shirt on that said, "Kill your local pedophiles."
The same employee added, we successfully deplatformed Trump. I don't think deplatforming of Libs of TikTok is going to cause him access to this, but I guess it may not be in our fiduciary interest to enact a ban on a high-profile account right now. The employee was reacting to a Twitter post on Sunday by Ari Drennan, who works for Media Matters. Targeted en masse over the course of the last 6 weeks are pro-life clinics. Pro-life clinics have been firebombed repeatedly over the course of the last month and a half. The media refused to even cover that. But apparently, Libs of TikTok posts a tweet, and this is a deep and abiding threat to trans people all over the United States.
Hey, Page of Music, thank you. Also, there is countless examples of Libs of TikTok showing the locations of school districts and those school districts getting numerous death threats, bomb threats, as well as a inordinate amount of hate speech directed towards them.
Later in the thread, the Twitter employee who expressed caution about banning Libs of TikTok apologized for appearing to downplay the perceived threat against transgender people. I apologize. I was not speaking from my own perspective, but applying a commentary on how leadership has behaved recently, the employee wrote. I could have...
Are you going to talk about Disney at all in this segment? You could have just said, I want to rant about Libs of TikTok on January 6th.
A little bit later.
Oh, clickbait. I get it.
Cried about it. Literally cried about it on national TV. And now she says that it's really bad that Elon Musk is noticing that Libs of TikTok is being targeted for violence by people.
The death threat that Libs of TikTok posted turned out to be from a fan of Libs of TikTok and also a fan of Stone Toss, Steven Crowder, and Ben Shapiro, funny enough. They said that they said that death threat as a joke. They thought Libs of TikTok would find it funny. And then they were kind of aghast that Libs of TikTok went full narc on them, did the @FBI on them, and then they were like, wait, what the fuck? I'm a follower of yours. I've replied to multiple threats. What are you doing? And the account's gone. It's gone. The account, it's nuked.
So Taylor Lorenz tweeted, of course. And then she linked to another article attacking Libs of TikTok and wrote, LGBTQ activists have called out Libs of TikTok's escalating attacks on the community in recent weeks. And then Lorenz subsequently shared a Twitter thread alleging that an original threat, which was a pipe bomb threat, was sarcasm and a joke. And then tweeted, all the conservatives speaking with Musk on Twitter are going to make Twitter a dangerous place. So glad that the Washington Post picked up Taylor Lorenz, the worst journalist in America. Gets very angry when anyone else complains about death threats, but she herself, she's the real victim. The battle for the culture is heating up. We here at the Daily Wire are making some big moves.
Oh, what the fuck? Did you just roast my VOD? What is with this thumbnail? Ben! All right, let's see these two things. First one, queer characters existing isn't political. Star Wars is literally in our name. Oh no, Star Wars has fallen. They've all fallen. I hear that Chris Evans has fallen as well.
Something about representation or diversity or whatever you...
Sure.
There's always pushback. How would you counter that, I suppose?
Well, the real truth is those people are idiots.
That is...
Oh god, Chris Evans has fallen too. Who will they take next? Who will be indoctrinated into the ideology? It's almost as if it's just kind of like the Overton window is shifting and y'all are so far behind that every time something happens, it's just like, what's going on? But we do have Ben Shapiro's new movie. We got to check this out. Uncancelable. Or cancelable? I'm not entirely sure what the point. Oh god, sorry. Cool. That seems fun. So you went from being in one of the most revered series in the human canon on one of the largest streaming services that exists to being on the bigoted service, the Daily Wire's exclusive streaming. You could watch What is a Woman, and then right after that, watch the new Gina Carrero film. Sounds fun. It also seems like this entire thing was filmed in one location because, again, they don't quite have the same budgets and all their movies are kind of utter dog shit. It's neat. It's like a bottle episode. It all takes place in just one little cabin. It's super cool. Yeah, it's the Western we've always wanted. The uncanceling begins. Uncanceling. Canceling is when a private corporation makes a decision that I don't agree with. Cool stuff. Cool stuff. Do you enjoy the Serfs but prefer not to have to use your eyeballs? Many are saying this. Well, we've got the solution for you. It's the Serf Times in podcast form. Available on most major podcasting networks now. If you enjoy it, please consider leaving a good review and feedback because it really helps the show out, apparently, and it's free, just like the podcast.
To our gods, Xander Corvus and Peyton L. Just, we are prepared to embark on a mighty jihad in your name. To our monarch, Tom Spiker, we are but your humble jester, attempting in vain to get you to laugh. To our valiant knights of the Round Table, Benji Arnie, Tech Tink, Scary Earth Human, Tony, DM Rivera, Resident Scarecrow, Sir Nickus, Mayred, Cheryl Alvarez, Ruby Kelly, Brandon, Words Greenwood. It doesn't matter what I believe, it only matters what I can prove. Egbert Celine, Matthew Scarborough, Stellar Vision, Ariane McCarthy, Daniel Sutton, Coulter Smith, Jenna Tao, Quiet 185, Anna Loves Riley, Omni, Riley and Anna, Poodlehawk, The Tim Caucus, Multimondi, Trevbot, EXE, Brian Ephraim, Lemmy 101, Anthropophojack, Saren 42, Catherine, Ramon Acosta, Incosin, Agent NDN, Violent Orchard, Political Puppy, La Media Panza, Zach Christensen, Todd Buckingham, and Todd Lajeunesse. We raise our mugs and salute our brave heroes off to another glorious conquest.